Your choices are being controlled by traumas you don't even remember. In this video, you're going to learn how to physically feel the difference between true intuition and a trauma-driven defense in disguise. There are old alarms going off inside you, making decisions that you believe are yours, but they actually belong to a past that was never fully integrated. Repeating relationship patterns, opportunities you abandon, self-sabotage that feels like spiritual protection. All of this happens because your body is confusing survival with wisdom. If you walk away from this video, you'll keep living under the command of invisible scars while believing you're in control. Most people spend their entire lives obeying fear dressed up as inner guidance. What's about to be revealed here shows exactly how your body manufactures these false signals and how you can turn this mechanism off right now. When the nervous system operates in a threat state, even a silent or chronic one, it creates visceral sensations that perfectly mimic the texture of genuine intuition. Tightness in your chest that feels like a warning, a sense of urgency to pull away that you mistake for discernment, a contraction that disguises itself as protective wisdom. These are echoes of old defense patterns, triggered by memories your body holds without words. You're going to learn how to physically pinpoint when you're listening to your true essence or simply reacting to wounds that never healed. The body only responds to the present moment when it feels regulated, safe, and grounded. When it's dysregulated, it relives the past as if it's happening now. Every don't go feeling might just be an outdated survival protocol still running. What you're about to receive is an internal map that gives your body back its ability to choose without interference from inherited alarms. The difference between expansion and contraction, between presence and reaction, between you and the trauma that still speaks through you. The corpus hermeticum described invisible forces that manipulate man until he awakens to himself. What the ancients called bodily gnosis, direct knowing through the flesh, is now named somatic integration by neuroscience. The body was seen as a vibrational mirror, a surface where everything that never became words gets recorded as tension, as knots, as alarms ready to go off. Every unprocessed experience leaves a somatic imprint that doesn't need conscious memory to get activated. Polyvagal theory has mapped 3 states of the autonomic nervous system: ventral vagal, where there's presence, connection, and safety; sympathetic, where there's fight, flight, and hypervigilance; dorsal vagal, where there's shutdown, disconnection, and paralysis. Your body moves through these states without your awareness, responding to threats that may no longer exist. Trauma lives in tissue without narrative, as implicit somatic memory, firing off gut reactions that you interpret as divine guidance. Transgenerational epigenetics has revealed something even deeper. You carry survival responses inherited from past generations. Alarms your ancestors needed, but you don't. Neural circuits that detect danger before your mind has processed anything. The body decides first, and only then does the mind explain. What comes next is the practice that shuts off these old alarms and gives your body back the power to choose for real. The first step is to recognize which state your nervous system is operating in right now. The ventral vagal state is the one of true presence. Your breath moves all the way down into your lower belly, your chest is open. There's clarity without rush, and an ability to feel subtle differences. There is no urgency, no tension held in defense. Your hands feel warm, your jaw is relaxed, and your eyes can hold steady contact without needing to look away. This is the only state where intuition can speak because your body is anchored in the present moment. When the fight or flight response is triggered, everything changes. Your breath moves up into your chest, It becomes short, fast, and stuck. Your chest tightens, your heart races, your hands get cold. A sense of urgency kicks in that doesn't match what's actually happening. I need to leave now. I have to decide right away. This isn't safe. You might interpret this as a gut feeling, but it's simply the body activating a defense mechanism. The mind comes in afterward to justify it, creating a story about why something is dangerous. But the decision was already made by the body's alarm system. Freeze is more subtle, and for that reason, more dangerous. There's no urgency, there's disconnection. Your breath becomes shallow, almost invisible. You feel heaviness in your body, slowness, a kind of emotional numbness. Thoughts like whatever, it doesn't matter, or I don't feel anything start to show up. This isn't spiritual neutrality, it's paralysis. The body has shut down to avoid feeling. When you mistake this absence for being at peace, you're confusing trauma-induced shutdown with presence. Here's the problem: implicit memories, the ones that never became words and were stored only as sensations, trigger these states without your awareness. A smell, a tone of voice, someone's posture in front of you. Any of these can activate defense or shutdown in a split second. You don't consciously remember what happened, but your body does, and it reacts as if the threat was still here. So you feel that tightening in your solar plexus and think, my intuition is telling me not to go. But that's not intuition. It's your body reacting to something that happened 5, 10, or 20 years ago, or even to something that happened to someone in your family line and was passed down through your biology. The alarm goes off, you obey, and you call it wisdom. Meanwhile, real opportunities are lost, safe people are pushed away, and meaningful paths are blocked. The difference between intuition and defense is this: intuition allows for a full breath, even in the face of the unknown. Defense restricts the breath, tightens the core, and freezes you. Intuition expands, defense shuts down. Intuition is slow, clear, peaceful. Defense is urgent, cloudy, restless. Now that you know what to look for, the next step is learning how to check your own body and recognize which signal is active. The second step is understanding that some of these reactions aren't even yours. Behavioral epigenetics has shown that trauma from previous generations can alter genetic markers and be passed down biologically. You may be carrying survival instructions that your grandparents, great-grandparents, or even entire ancestral lines once needed, but you don't. The body inherited the protocol, but not the context, and it keeps running defense patterns that no longer apply. That deep, visceral feeling of don't trust might not even be your own experience. It could belong to someone who was betrayed and never healed. That urge to pull away from intimacy might not be your fear. It could come from someone who was abandoned and left an epigenetic imprint that says, don't get close, it hurts too much. The body doesn't distinguish the origin. It just carries out a protection contract that was never cancelled. These are invisible somatic contracts, defense protocols that were useful in another time, in another body, but are still active in you. Freezing in the face of abundance, because somewhere in your lineage, abundance meant danger or sudden loss. Running away from opportunity, because at some point, opportunity came paired with betrayal or collapse. Self-sabotage when it comes to being seen, because once being visible meant being attacked. You read these reactions as spiritual discernment. I'm not ready. This isn't for me. Something doesn't feel right. But in truth, it's just an inherited alarm still going off, with no real threat in the present. Your body is reacting to a story that isn't yours, but it got recorded as if it were. And until you check the source of that signal, you'll keep obeying someone else's past. The good news is that the body can also unlearn. It can release contracts that no longer belong to this time, this life, or to you. But for that to happen, a checking protocol is needed. A way to ask the body directly, is this my present or my past? Does this expand me or contract me? And to feel the answer not with your mind, but through your breath, your core, your hands. What comes next is exactly that tool. A somatic listening ritual that gives your body back the ability to tell the difference between real wisdom and inherited survival, between the voice of your essence and the echo of wounds that were never yours. The third step is the practice that brings this distinction into the body. 3 points of anchoring. The solar plexus, where true visceral discernment lives. The diaphragm, where your breath reveals whether you're expanding or contracting. And the hands, somatic extensions of yes and no. When facing any decision or any sensation of don't go, you place one hand over your solar plexus and the other on your diaphragm. Take a deep breath, pause for 3 seconds at the top of the inhale, and ask yourself internally, is this my present or my past? Don't wait for a mental answer. Don't look for words, reasons, or explanations. Just feel the quality of the next breath. Does it flow fully, all the way down into your lower belly? Or does it get stuck in your chest? Does the solar plexus soften or tense up? Do your hands feel warm, signaling a flow of presence, or cold, signaling withdrawal? This is the vibrational code. Your body has always known how to speak. You just never stopped to listen with precision. True intuition allows a full breath, even in the face of the unknown. There's an expansion in the chest, warmth in the center, peaceful clarity. Defense, on the other hand, traps the air in the chest, tightens the solar plexus, and cools the extremities. Urgency, haste, sudden shutdown, all of these are alarms, not wisdom. When you learn to check this in your body, without your mind getting in the way, decisions stop being guesses and start becoming conscious choices. This checking process doesn't promise absolute certainty about the future, but it gives the body a chance to choose, not just react, to respond to what's actually here now, not to what happened before, to hear your essence, not inherited scars. And for the first time, you feel the difference between being truly alive and just surviving. At 43 years old, Claire was living in a pattern she called selective intuition. Whenever something meaningful came her way, a relationship that offered real depth, a chance to lead a high-visibility project, an invitation to step outside her comfort zone, her body always reacted the same way. Tight solar plexus, breath stuck in her chest, urgent need to pull away. She always obeyed, convinced she was following her inner voice, until one day she realized every door she had closed required her to be seen, and she could never quite understand why. It was during a conversation with a friend that Claire first heard about somatic memory and inherited responses. The idea shook her. What if what I call intuition is just old fear? She began to investigate. She read about the body reacting to the past, about alarms being triggered when there's no real threat in the present. She learned that it was possible to check physically whether a sensation was true wisdom or just a defense. She decided to try it the next time the contraction appeared. Weeks later, a new opportunity came along. The contraction hit instantly, but this time, Claire paused. She placed one hand on her solar plexus, the other on her diaphragm, took a deep breath, paused for 3 seconds at the top of the inhale, and asked herself, is this my present or my past? She didn't wait for a mental answer. She just felt. Her breath tried to lock up, her core tensed, Her hands turned cold. But for the first time, Claire recognized this wasn't hers. It was an inherited protocol, a defense from someone who had learned that being seen was dangerous. She chose to breathe through the contraction, kept her hands on the anchoring points, and let the air flow all the way down into her lower belly. Her solar plexus began to soften, her hands warmed up, and then came a peaceful clarity, without urgency, without fear, real intuition. Claire accepted the opportunity, and for the first time in her life, she felt that the one making the decision was truly her, not someone else's scar, not an outdated alarm, just her, present and free. Integration happens when you can recognize, in your own body, the signs that you are truly present, not just reacting, a breath that flows all the way down into your lower belly without getting stuck in your chest, a jaw that softens, releasing chronic tension, warmth in the center of your chest, signaling a flow of presence, a solar plexus that is no longer permanently braced. These are measurable physical markers, not abstract concepts, but trackable sensations that prove your body is responding to the here and now. The anchoring gesture is to gently touch your solar plexus whenever you notice an automatic contraction rising. Just touch, pause, and feel. Is there warmth or coldness? Is there openness or closure? That touch acts like a somatic switch. It breaks the autopilot of defense and brings you back to the present. When the old alarm goes off again, and it will, this is your return point. A physical pause, hand at the center, attention on the quality of your breath. There's no battle, only a bodily reminder that you can check before you obey. The greatest revolution you can experience doesn't happen in the mind. It happens when your body finally stops reacting to what no longer exists. For years, you've obeyed alarms that weren't yours. You've called defense wisdom. You've mistaken survival for divine guidance. Now you know the difference. And knowing the difference changes everything, because for the first time, you can choose without invisible scars, choosing for you. True intuition doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It doesn't freeze your breath. It comes quietly with expansion, with peace, even in the face of the unknown. It's the voice that only speaks when the body is regulated, when the nervous system knows it's safe enough to hear the sacred. Everything else is just echo, memory repeating the past, alarms triggering old protocols, defense disguised as spirituality. The philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "Freedom only begins when you realize you are not the voice in your head, nor the reaction in your body. You are the one who observes both, and to observe without blindly obeying is what restores the body's original dignity." God speaks through intuition, but only when the nervous system is at peace. When there is internal war, there is only noise. When there is presence, there is a direct channel. What you've received here is not a self-help technique. It's the return of something that has always been yours, the ability to feel the present moment without interference from the past, to check within your own body whether that feeling is true wisdom or just inherited survival, to breathe through the contraction and choose to expand, to be free, truly free for the first time. And real freedom isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to check whether the fear you feel belongs to this moment, or if it's just an alarm from a threat that no longer exists. When you stop obeying somatic contracts you never signed, the body finally remembers what it means to be alive. And everything begins again, but this time with you choosing. If this message resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That helps expand the reach of this information and gives more people access to what the body has always known, but was never taught to listen to. I want to know how you're feeling this distinction in your own body. Write in the comments, "My traumas no longer decide for me." That statement seals your presence on the path of conscious choice. Share this video with someone you know who's stuck in repetitive patterns, still obeying alarms that don't belong to this life. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video from the channel. Every layer of somatic awareness you integrate brings you closer to true freedom. Remember, when you stop mistaking trauma for wisdom, the body finally reclaims its right to choose. And conscious choice is the only real path to the life you came here to live.